Hello everyone, welcome back to Form of Therapy. This is the Culture Study. I'm the channel's video producer and your host. You can call me PD. And today we are checking out G999, Girls Planet 999. I don't know if that's what that stands for, but we have G999 featuring Mirani. Unfamiliar with who Mirani is, but I'm looking forward to getting to know them, by Moonbyul. Also, additionally, one more song. We have 머리에서 발끝까지. That's Korean for From Head to Toe, featuring Seori. Seori, who we're actually familiar with. Seori with her song Lovers in the Night. Great song. I'm familiar with some of her solo stuff. And then she also had that TXT feature, which, wow, she's getting like all the features. Good for her. These are special releases from Moonbyul leading up to her solo comeback. Her solo comeback is going to be later this month. I'm looking forward to it. Of all of the Mamamoo members, Hyun and Moonbyul especially are some of my favorite solo acts. Like for me, on a personal end, like I really thought that Moonbyul's solo stuff was quite incredible. I even saw one of her other songs recently. Oh man, what was it called? Hold on. Oh right, it was called Absence. Absence, you know, I had seen Eclipse. We reacted to Eclipse, but I saw Absence on our Patreon, and it blew my mind. It was incredible. So I want to check these out. Apparently, there are some interesting elements to the video, and we are a video critique reaction channel, so I thought it'd be perfect. But before we get into today's video, guys, if you enjoy our content, you'd like to support us, consider visiting our Patreon. We actually do listening party reactions over there. We check out variety content, a lot of special reaction content. So if you guys want to check that out and support us, consider visiting our Patreon. Of course, you don't have to support us monetarily if you don't want to. Just simply hit the like button, subscribe down below. We would really appreciate it. Those are free ways to help us out. Let's get into the video. This is G999 and 머리에서 발끝까지 by Moonbyul featuring Mirani and Seori, obviously to their own songs. And this is your Form of Therapy. Oh, okay. Okay. Is the 999? Is that supposed to be for 1999?
표시한 기다렸던 우리들의 미세먼지 가득한 밖은 위험한데 우리 거리는 조금만 좁혀 안으로 들어올래 지구 한 바퀴 돌아도 우리만한 그림 없다고 지금 느껴지는 이 느낌은 널 보고 있을 때면 난 무중력 산소가 부족한 바람 나댈 리어 그렇다는 기듯한 It's just
I see. All right, so okay, I see what the title stands for now. Wow. Wow, I like her a lot. Mirani, was it? Mirani, okay. Wow. Oh my god. This is so good. Oh my goodness, Moonbyul. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Before we move on to the next song, just real quick. So the title G999 is in Korean, that's G, and then you pronounce 9 as 구 in Korean. There's two ways to pronounce it, 아홉 and 구. And so they're saying 지구구구, which is a play on of the words 지구, which is, 지구 means earth. That's our planet. And so, you know, based on the song lyrics and what they're talking about, being drawn into your own gravity, kind of our own hideout, 지구구구. Like she could either be saying our own hideout, like our own earth, or she might be saying like given the space that given the lyrics of her saying like she doesn't feel she feels no gravity, or like she feels drawn in towards them, she feels like an alien, or et cetera, et cetera. I wonder if perhaps it could also be interpreted as they're like, you know, there's that concept of like being in your own world, and so like they're in their own world, and that world is called G999, G999. And just given the fact that it's just like a clear callback to the 90s, also works on so many levels. That is so friggin' clever. Not only is it a pun, but it's also a reference to the genre of the song that it's playing off of, the 90s sort of hip-hop pop beat, especially in Korea. Wow. Phenomenal. I'm unfamiliar with this Mirani person, but so I don't know if it's the top line that's just really good, or if she is really good, or perhaps it's a little bit of both. I loved this, and I loved her, and I definitely want to like check her out on my own time to see like if I would like her stuff as well. All right, let's check out. I believe it's called 머리에서 발끝까지 featuring Seori. All right, turning that English subtitle on for you guys.
차가운 내 맘에 불을 질러 날 다 헤집어놔도 좋아 짙은 까만 밤에 나를 끌어 안아줘 더 네 리듬에 날 맞춰 눈을 감은 그때 내게 속삭여줘요 짧은 숨결 속에 나를 녹여줘요 곱게 닫힌 내 매듭을 풀어줄래요 Give it to me 이 밤은 덜파 Oh no worries She said 나를 만져놔도 돼요 Yeah She said 오늘 밤은 네 머리에서 발끝까지 네 머리에서 발끝까지 내 하루 잡고 가기까지 yeah. 네 머리에서 발끝까지 네 머리에서 발끝까지 네 무릎에서 집까지 Shutdown 나를 줘 네 안에서
Oh, is that the English title for this? Shutdown?
조금만 물길이 스치면 손길 거칠어지겠지 Yeah, 저 산을 지나 다리 건너 그림 같은 집을 짓고 달리 밤 피카소처럼 너를 그릴게 한편의 명작 하나의 실루엣 우리의 그림은 이거고 빨갛게 She said 나를 만져놔도 돼요 Yeah She said 오늘 밤은 네 머리에서 발끝까지 네 머리에서 발끝까지 내
Wow, I love her technique. She's putting a lot of air into that. Every time she says kaji, wow. Wow.
뜨거워진 우리 사이 식을 새도 없이 넌 나와 나의 tonight Tell me 바다가 돼줘 매일매일 깊이 헤엄쳐계속 baby Baby, baby, slow down, down, down 내 머리에서 발끝까지 내 머리에서 발끝까지 네 허리를 잡고 거기까지 내 머리에서 발끝까지 내 머리에서 발끝까지 내 무릎에서 아침까지 Shutdown, shutdown, baby
Oh, interesting. All right. There's a lot of elements about the 머리에서 발끝까지 music video, which I guess it's called Shutdown. It's just all in Korean here for me. But when I was looking this video up, I just typed Moonbyul and Seori because I didn't know what the song was called. And there was like a suggestion for like a lyric video, and it's called Shutdown. And I thought it was a separate song. But I suppose this one is called Shutdown in English. But in Korean, it's from head to toes. 머리에서 발끝까지. So what's interesting about this now, I'd already heard just from people who were suggesting it that they're like, oh, she made like a lesbian music video. I would definitely say that it's more of an implication. Although if you, I would say, and the implication is not really heavy, and at the same time, it is heavy at the same time. It's hard to, I guess, describe because you're in a tricky situation here. You're in a tough situation because with the world that is Korea and the way that it is now, yes, queer representation is a lot more. It's a lot more progressed. I mean, every year they always take huge steps forward. That's how like backwards it still is in Korea. It's like every year, even just having one a queer character in a K-drama is like a huge step for them, and usually the way that they're portrayed is like a huge leaps and bounds for them. But they're still very far from where we are here in the Western world. But because of that, Moonbyul herself is pretty restricted, but yet she still played really well within those boundaries of what she can do. And I feel like what is the best way to approach this was the delicate touch, and the way that they did this was really dope. Let's start out with Seori. Every time they utilize Seori and the way they introduce Seori is really interesting. The way they utilize Seori here, right here.
Give it to me, 입으면 alpha, on no worries. She said, 나를 먼저
Every time Seori is introduced, both vocally in the song and visually in the music video, it's always tied together. And there's always a very clear change in atmosphere. If you look at this, they're establishing these wide shots to show you that she's alone. And then when they reveal her, you can literally hear the change. You can feel the change. It's a very distinct change. God, her vocals are incredible. And then the second time, they do it again right here. That is really, really, really well done. So when I say that it's very, the sapphic overtones, it's not heavy and heavy at the same time. I mean, what friggin' helps is the lyrics itself. I think because the lyrics are definitely, I think people are going to definitely freak out less if they incorporate it into the lyrics rather than Moonbyul just outright showing something visually. I think this is like that perfect like line that she's towing, because Korea's just, they're not ready for it yet. They're not ready for just someone being so outrightly portraying something like this, especially someone as mainstream of an idol as Moonbyul. I think overall it was just really, really brave to do it in the first place, but also just incorporating into the lyrics is also a very big thing. But this transition's really, really dope. I'm curious if to see if they did this in one take. So Moonbyul leaves this scene. Hold on. Moonbyul leaves this scene. Oh no, they did a cut. But even still, that transition from her panning up to the window, this is very nice, careful filmmaking. I really appreciate that. You know, they're going for a lot of oneers, a lot of long, drawn out takes. And even in the filmmaking, there's a lot of sapphic undertones to it. I think the lyrics already, just having some beautiful kind of words like, you can ruin me. You know, I think poetry is a very big part of sapphic culture, but also there is, I'm sure some of you have maybe heard about the term of the male gaze. It's very fascinating in filmmaking. What is the male gaze? But then there's also what is the female gaze? You know, doing queer representation, especially lesbian representation, is a very tricky thing, because how do you portray two women in love without making it feel exploitative and also making it feel hypersexualized, as it often does in mainstream media? And I think the most interesting thing that I ever learned is the concept of the male gaze versus the female gaze. And oftentimes the way that lesbian representation, women on women representation, when it's done for the male gaze, it's hypersexualized. It's very fast and it's like passionate and it's all about sex and it's all like, you know. But the female gaze it's about something that's a little bit more of a slower dance. You know, it's a little bit more drawn out. It's about the slow burn. It's about kind of appreciating the little things here and there. And so the long drawn out shots, the oneers, I don't know if that was intentional. You know, that was their intentional style of filmmaking, kind of leaving it kind of, I guess, much more open to interpretation. Letting your imagination run more wild does more for the content than actually showing it. So rather than just showing like all of this content, kind of like leaving it a little bit empty like this lets your imagination kind of fantasize about whatever you want. And that, I think, leans way more into the female gaze. I'm not an expert on this subject. I'm just going off of what I've learned, and I'm sure I have much more to learn still. But based on just what I know, I feel like this was done incredibly well, but not just like, oh, they've got two girls in it and like she's like in the lyrics like implicating a lesbian relationship. I think it goes deeper than that. I think it's also the filmmaking. I think it's also the tone itself, the shots that they choose to do and not do, the way they carefully reveal it. I think all of that is what also makes this an incredibly, incredibly sapphic piece of culture. So yeah, the song is also super dope. I mean, wow, the way like Moonbyul like passes off the chorus to Seori, it feels so effortless and gentle, and like you kind of don't even notice it. I love that. That was really well done. I mean, both of these were incredible. I would give like Jigugugu just an awesome song. You know, straight up 10 out of 10. 머리에서 발끝까지. The song for me, I would give it a 10 out of 10, but I do like it a little less than Jigugugu in terms of like, I'm like all about like that kind of like 90s hip hop aesthetic. So let's say that one 10 out of 10. This one, let's give it like a 9.5. It's still an incredible song. It's still an amazing song, and it really tugs at your kind of, not heartstrings, but that angstiness, that subtle angstiness. And I like a song that can do that. But in terms of music videos, you know, the Jigugugu music video, it was fun. It was fine. But that's it. You know, they just lean into that 90s style. You know, we've kind of seen it before. But here, this, I think, wow, this production, as simple as it was, I think the simplicity is where and is what makes this music video shine. So the music video, incredible 10 out of 10. Guys, that is 문별's G999 and 머리에서 발끝까지, aka Shutdown. Let me know, what did you guys think in the comments down below? I have always been personally a very, I guess I can't say I'm a very big fan of lesbian media because they're very much isn't one, you know? And by media, I mean, like, yes, there's stuff like the L Word and there are various pieces of lesbian representation, but I think until it is inducted into the cultural norm and it is way more common than it is now, can't even say there really is lesbian media. But, you know, I've always been a fan of queer representation, and I've always been a fan of queer filmmaking and how we can elevate the queer representation with elevated filmmaking. That's something that I think about a lot. And I think 문별 really put something out there into the universe that has long been lacking for a long time. Just like the subtlety, but also just kind of like, I guess, the purity of it as well. Like, it touches on something that is, I think, not really, like, even within queer representation, not really done as tastefully as this. I think that's a great way to put it. Did I just compliment myself? All right, but guys, let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Once again, if you would like to support the channel, consider visiting our Patreon. We've got bonus content over there. If 문별 puts out an album for this, we're probably going to do a listening party for this. If you want to go ahead and not support us monetarily, that's completely fine. Consider hitting the like button down below. Go ahead and subscribe. And also, if you like queer content, I actually made a 3-part lesbian miniseries on our Patreon like years ago. I think it might be like 4 or 5 years at this point, but it was a very long time ago. But if you want to check it out, I will go ahead and put it somewhere here. But guys, thank you for checking out the video. We will see you later. Bye.